Hello, Mon family. We made it to the last Monday of February. And real quick before I start, have you guys ever had one of those dreams where you're falling off a building and like your heart's pounding and you're sweating and you're in full panic mode? And then you open your eyes and then snap, and the first thing you say, oh my God, thank God it wasn't real, right? And then you roll over, you might laugh at it. I mean, it happens to me all the time. I think it happened to me like 2 weeks ago. And you just start your days off like that, like nothing ever happened. But then real life hits you with something small, right? One small awkward conversation where you stumble over your words. I mean, I do this all the time, or one rejection email sitting in your inbox, or one person's opinion that hits a little deeper than it should, or one mistake that feels bigger than it actually is. And suddenly your brain treats it like a nightmare that never ended. And it replays this moment on loop, zooms in on every detail, every word, every feeling, and it whispered something very dangerous, right? It's like, this defines you now. And just like that, one temporary moment hijacks your whole day, your whole week, and sometimes even your whole year. We wake up from bad dreams in seconds and we move on, but we stay asleep in real life nightmares for way too long. So today we're waking up because this is your dream and it's time to stop letting nightmares control it.
This is MON, still showing up.
Hosted by Dennis.
Okay, Mon family. So let's get started with our Mon stories that I love. And it's probably your favorite time of Mon when I'm not screaming at you guys. But this first Mon story, someone said, so we had someone at work who never used people's names. Everyone was dear, everyone was honey, everybody was love. But it never felt loving. It felt like control, like she was reminding you she didn't see you, she saw your position. I never had that situation. It's like, you, honey, dear. No, not to HR. One morning, we were in a meeting and she snapped her fingers and said, dear, can you make sure HR is included on this? And something in me paused because I realized if I let this slide, I'm teaching her how to treat me. Mm-hmm. So I calmly said, sure. And my name is Angelina. The room went quiet, not awkward, just aware. And she looked at me and said, what was that, dear? Like she didn't hear me, like she wanted me to shrink. So I said, my name is Angelina. I appreciate being called by my name. She paused and said, I'll take note of that. And from that moment forward, she never called me dear again. See, her name's Angelina. Oh, you already told me your name. What was your last name? But yeah, you just have to correct people, right? You don't need to raise your voice. You just have to raise your standard and act accordingly. Like you're gonna respect me. This is work. I wouldn't take that. Period. And then this Mon story, I can already picture it in my head. Someone said, so last week we had a Super Bowl watch party in our college house. And when I say watch party, nobody cared about Monday because spiritually, Monday didn't exist. I mean, for our Super Bowl, Monday didn't exist the next day. Um, Tell me why we stayed up until 2 in the morning celebrating. So Monday comes, classes at 10 a.m. Tell me why we all woke up at 9:55. All of us in the same room, same panic, same realization, nobody moved. We just stared at each other like, so are we all failing together? But listen, at least I showed up. So we walked into class late, all of us together, which already made it obvious. Because why are 5 people entering like a family union? The professor looked at us calmly and asked, why are you late? Now, nobody planned anything. Nobody said, let's lie, but somehow the lie found us. One of my friends said, we had a flat tire. And we all stood there supporting it. I nodded. The professor paused and said, "Okay, which tire?" Because now this lie needed details. And nobody studied. My friend Mike said, "The back one." And she said, "Which back one?" My other friend said, "I didn't check to get out." Then she separated us. And that's when I knew that the tire had died. Everybody gave different answers: left tire, right tire, back tire, front tire. And at that point, the tire had multiple personalities. Eventually, we admitted there was no tires, just five people who emotionally recovered from the Super Bowl and spiritually was not ready for education. But at least we showed up.
Crazy word. Not a 50 question.
I feel like that would be you as a professor. You'd be like, really? Like you would grill the students because it's like imagine just five people walking in a unit. Like I've like we just gonna show up together. We all gonna fail together. Like that's something that I would do. But at least showing up is late is better than not showing up. Um, I mean they didn't have a flat tire. They had flat priorities at that point. But anyways, that was a great Mon story. And you guys learned your lesson. Just be honest, okay? All right, Mon family. Now let's stop treating life like a nightmare and start dreaming, okay? And I want us to start here because one of the biggest reasons why bad moments feel so real is because your emotional brain reacts before your logical brain has a chance even to catch up to it. Your brain's first job is always survival. So when something uncomfortable happens, it's like rejection, embarrassment, and someone's ignoring you. Your emotional brain hits that alarm immediately and your stomach immediately drops. Your chest will start tightening up inside and your thoughts they start racing. And not because your life is actually in danger, but because your brain is trying to protect you. And here's the important part for this Monday. Just because your brain reacts fast doesn't mean it's telling the truth about your future. It's reacting to protect you, not to define you. The second thing your brain does, and it's negative bias. And basically, what it means, it remembers experiences stronger than the positive ones. It's like a relationship. You remember all the bad things, you don't really remember about the good things, and they're always trying to throw it at your face. You can have 10 good things happen to you and one awkward moment and your brain will replay that awkward situation, not because it defines your life, as I mentioned earlier. It's because your brain thinks that it's helping you avoid pain in the future. Your brain believes that if I remember this, I can protect you. But what it doesn't realize is that replaying keeps you mentally stuck in it, especially on Mondays. You wake up with a new opportunity, but your brain brings old moments with it. And suddenly you feel behind when your reality, you're just starting fresh. And now, last thing that happens is the identity hijack. And this is where it gets dangerous because your brain doesn't just remember the moment, but it tries to turn the moment into your whole identity, right? One rejection becomes maybe I'm not good enough, or one mistake becomes I always mess things up, or one bad moment becomes this is just who I am. But I want you to listen carefully, right? This was a moment, not your identity. Your brain took one scene and it tried to turn it into the story. But your story is still being written, especially today. And on this Monday, it's not defined by what happened before, it's defined by what you choose to do now. You are not your worst moment and you're not your past reaction. You are the person who's still showing up, and that's where your power is. Because once you understand that your brain is trying to protect you, you stop letting old moments control new opportunities for yourself and you start moving forward. Now that we talked about why bad moments feel so real, Now, I want you to think about is that your brain follows your focus, right? Your brain is literally a machine. It doesn't decide your future, it follows instructions. If you focus on fear, your brain finds danger. If you focus on rejection, your brain finds proof. It's literally manifestation, and you should stop. If you focus on opportunity, your brain finds a way to grow. Focus is direction, and your life goes where your focus goes. And I saw this play out recently in my own life. So, about a month ago, I started receiving negative comments, and not from strangers, but from people close to me. Little things like, maybe it's not going viral because it isn't what you're meant to do. Or, what was the other one, Mercedes? Maybe this path isn't for you. And I'm not gonna lie, for a moment, it did hit me. Not because I believe them, but because when it's quiet, that voice echoes, bruh, louder than ever. My brain tried to grab onto it. It tried to turn those negative comments into evidence, evidence that I wasn't growing fast enough. Like, how ridiculous is that? Evidence that I maybe should have slowed down, and evidence that maybe this dream, wasn't real. But because that's what your brain does, it looks for proof to support whatever you focus on. And if I had to focus on their doubt, my brain would have found more doubt, more fear, and more reasons as to why I should stop. But you know what? I made a decision, right? I shifted my focus and I reminded myself that building slow doesn't mean I'm building wrong. And building slow means I'm building strong, right? And like I said before, fast things break and strong things last. And instead of focusing on their doubt, I focused on continuing to build. And that's why I'm still here and I'm still recording and I'm still building MON and we're still showing up because your brain doesn't control you, it follows you. And most people aren't weak. They're just distracted, as I said last year. Just not last year, last week. Distracted by fear, distracted by opinions, distracted by moments that were never meant to define them. And some people quit right before everything changes. And not because they weren't capable, but because they got tired of believing in dreams before they saw it in real life. But I want you to listen to me. If you quit faster than you started, you never gave your dream a fair chance to recognize you because your dreams already exist. God already showed it to you for a reason, and it just needs you to still be building when you arrive there. Still showing up, still believing, still moving, even when it's quiet and even when it doesn't look real yet. Because every real thing was a dream at first. First in the mind and then into reality. And I probably shouldn't be using this, but Helen Keller once said, the only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. Because vision is what lets you see the life God showed you before you're living in it. And because vision is what keeps you building when nothing looks different yet. And vision is what keeps you moving when reality hasn't caught up to your dream. And that's when you protect your vision. And I always like throwing an analogy because Mercedes says I have an analogy for everything. But your brain is like a movie theater, right? Whatever film you keep playing becomes your reality. If you keep replaying the worst moment of your life, your brain thinks that's the main character, but it's not. It's just one scene. You're still the director, and you can stop the film. You can change the scene, you can keep building the story. And most people don't realize this. They think that the movie is happening to them, but it's not. They're the ones pressing a replay. And recently I saw something that stay with me, and it said that the algorithm, when you think about it, isn't just showing you products, it's showing you a version of success, right? And if you're not careful, when you start believing that's the only version that exists, that you need money first, you need the aesthetic first, you need the validation. And that's how people quietly give up on their dreams that were meant for them, because they start chasing what they're shown instead of building what they were called to create. And I had to remind myself, just because something isn't loud, flashy, or viral yet, it doesn't mean it isn't real. And I want you to remember this. Some of the strongest things that God builds grows quietly first. So I really want to put this challenge in you for this week, is to take 5 minutes and ask yourself a question, right? If I can unlearn everything that I'm shown, what would I actually want? Not what gets the most likes and not what other people expect from me, but what do you want? Write it down, because clarity is where your power starts. And once your brain has direction, your life will start moving toward it. So this week, stop chasing what you're shown and start building what you were called to create and dream big. Now, the real question becomes, right? What do you actually do when your brain starts replaying the nightmare? How do I wake up mentally? And it starts with this. And it's the number one thing that you should do is separate the moment from your identity. When something painful happens, remind yourself, this is a moment, not my identity. Because one rejection doesn't define my worth, and one mistake doesn't define your future. Second thing that you should do is stop feeding the replay every single time you replay it. You give it power. So when your brain brings it back, don't fight it. Just recognize that moment is over, but I'm here now, and redirect your focus to be present. The next thing you should do is start feeding your future instead. Brain builds what you focus on. Instead of replaying who you were at your worst, you start seeing who you're becoming at your best. You see yourself growing, you see yourself moving forward, you see yourself becoming stronger, because your brain follows the direction that you give it. And remember who actually has control. Your brain is powerful, whatever, but it follows your leadership. You are not your thought, you are the one choosing which thoughts to keep. And every time you choose to move forward instead of backwards, you take your power back. Your life is still being written, and you're still in control of your story. Now, I'm always backing things up with Jesus. And before we close, I want to share something that gives, this whole conversation a deeper meaning. It's that God didn't give you imagination to torture you with fear. He gave it to you for creation. Your imagination lets you see beyond your current reality. It lets you picture healing before it happens, confidence before you feel it, peace before circumstances change, right? But fear tries to hijack that same gift. It replays worst case scenarios. It tries to convince you the nightmares is permanent, but that was never its purpose. Imagination was given to you to see what's possible, not to trap you in what's temporary. And there was this verse, and this time I didn't memorize the verse, but it's in Ephesians 3:20. Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us. And essentially, what that means is immeasurably more than you can imagine. That means the future God is building in your life is bigger than your fears and bigger than your past, bigger than any moment that tried to break you. Your dreams are not random, and I want this to be the whole theme. They were placed in you intentionally, not to tease you, to guide you. Your current reality is not your final reality. This season is not your ending, it's preparation. God sees the vision of you that is still becoming, still growing, still building, even when you can't see it. So, Mon family, when fear tries to use your imagination against you, use it in the way that it was designed. Picture your peace, your growth, picture the life you're building. We're meant to dream for a reason because the same God who gave you that vision is walking with you as it becomes a reality. Now, I want you to think about this week. Whatever you're going through right now, keep building anyways and keep showing up anyway. Whether you're at work, wherever you are, keep believing anyway because your brain is always listening to you. Be freaking delusional. Okay? Your brain is listening to you like a nosy neighbor who hears everything through the walls. If you keep telling it, this isn't working, I'm done, this is pointless, it's going to go full detective mode, collecting receipts, and it will build a whole PowerPoint titled Evidence You Should Have Quit Yesterday. But you should flip that whole script and you're going to tell your brain, you're going to tell it, this is working. I am building. My time is coming. And suddenly your brain turns that into your hype man, that random like proof, that one person who kept going receipt, and that tiny win you almost ignored evidence file. And you listening to Mon, that's a receipt. Okay. And it starts looking for reasons to continue instead of reasons to stop because your brain follows your leadership. And yes, sometimes that means, like I said, being a little delusional. Not delusional about reality, but delusional about your potential. Delusional enough to believe in your version of your life that God showed you before anyone else sees it. And delusional enough to keep showing up when nothing looks different yet because everything real was built twice, first in our mind, then in our reality. So don't let your current situation convince you your dream is impossible. Your job isn't to prove it yet, your job is to build it. Because one day, what feels impossible right now will feel inevitable. And Mon family, hear me clearly, okay? You are not behind. You are not crazy. You are becoming. So keep going, and I'll see you next Monday, same time, same place, still showing up, still building. Bye now.